Hey, what's up, guys? For tonight, I'm gonna review Furious. You probably can't see it. Furious 7. I saw it in theaters. Opening weekend. I originally had a review for it, sort of, but I messed up in the video a lot, so I decided not to do it until now. But when you talk about um, sequels, franchise movies, you always have to talk about what you think of the other ones. So the original Fast and Furious, The Fast and the Furious. It's not a great movie. I didn't like it that much. I saw it a lot back when it was on HBO or Stars or whatever. Um, but it's it's not it's a mediocre movie, but it's mediocre, but it's I'll say it's memorable, but it's not very good. I mean, it is very cheesy, but I laugh at it. I guess I don't know. I didn't really care for it that much. Too Fast, Too Furious. I actually liked it a little bit better, but it's still not great. Most of it because of Tyrese. I thought he was really funny in the movie, but the story and the villain, I didn't really care. But Tyrese and Paul Walker had good chemistry, I thought. Um, Tokyo Drift, I didn't really care for that one. Again, it's just like I'm really not into car racing. That's one of the reasons why the first couple don't appeal for me. But I thought Lucas Black, he's a good actor, but he wasn't really giving good material. It, it was a meh movie. Fourth one, Fast and Furious. I thought it was pretty boring. I didn't care for the whole Michelle Rodriguez storyline. I felt everybody was, especially Vin Diesel, was just sleepwalking through the movie. It was, it was, it wasn't fun. It was dull and way too much CGI. Which is the problem with some of the other movies. It's just way too much CGI. It looks so awful. Fast and Furious 4. That was the Fast 5. I thought it was surprisingly good. They used more practical stunts, which is a breath of fresh air. I thought the humor worked. I really liked the whole heist thing. I like how the characters bounce off each other. They did a really good job. The actors, Tyrese came back and Ludacris from Too Fast and Furious, and you had Han from Tokyo Drift and Gal Gadot from the fourth one, and you had the main characters, um, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, and Jordana Brewster coming back. And this time you also had The Rock and a lot of fun action. The fight between The Rock and Vin Diesel, really entertaining fight. I really liked that. Even though realistically The Rock would have won, but whatever. But that was a fun movie. Fast and Furious 6, I enjoyed a lot, even though the the whole climax is good, but the plane just goes on forever and ever and never takes off. But that again, the fight scenes were well done. I have to give credit to Justin Lin. He really knows how to do action. He really improved with Fast Five and Fast and Furious 6. One thing I didn't really care for was again the whole Michelle Rodriguez storyline. She comes back. She has amnesia. I'm like, whatever. But I still, again, the characters work so well with each other, and it was fun. Now this one had a lot of hype to it. It's like an elephant in the room. I have to mention this. One of the reasons why, because the tragedy of Paul Walker, he passed away, as you know. Rest in peace, Paul Walker. And that they tried to get this movie done after he passed away. And I gotta say, what they had to do to finish the film with this character, even though he passed away, was very well done. I thought that was the most impressive thing about the movie. His whole character arc, Paul Walker's character, how he doesn't. And by the way, there will be spoilers. the whole thing about how he he doesn't he still wants to help out Vin Diesel and all the other guys, but a he has a baby now. He has a real life, but he misses all the action, as they say in the movie. They say he misses the bullets. But I thought it was interesting how they handle his character in the movie. I thought it was really well done. There are some moments where you could tell it wasn't Paul Walker there, but it wasn't to the point where it was just distracting. But I could tell because I have to be honest, I was looking for see, oh, like for example, there's a fight scene that he has around the end. They don't really show his face. It's mostly in the dark, not the fight, but his face, and you can tell okay that was one of his brothers that filled in for those shots. But he is seen in the beginning of the fight and at the end. He just wasn't in some shots. Or where there's a scene where he's talking to Jordana Brewster's character. They're only really showing the back of his head. That's obviously not him. But then again, it doesn't really take you out of the movie. I just, if you want to just point out or look for the fill-ins for his character, like I did, whatever. But this movie, I thought, to be honest, it wasn't as good as 5 and 6. It was fun, but one problem that I thought was missing from, or actually lacking compared to 5 and 6 was the direction. I felt that this time around it's James Wan instead of Justin Lin. And I could just tell that when you compare the action scenes with Fast 5 and Fast Furious 6 with this one, you just tell that it's not, in my opinion, it's not as well done. It's more shaky. Especially the fight scenes, I thought they were way too shaky. Especially the fight. I'll see the fight scene with like Michelle Rodriguez and that other, what the hell was her name is, Ronda Rousey, whatever. What you can, it's not so bad that it ruins the fight scene, but I just felt that for some reason James Wan, which by the way I'm not a fan of James Wan. I think he's an overrated director, but for some reason there's some parts in the fight scenes in the movie where he decides to just have the camera move where the character lands, like it goes sideways or whatever. I just thought, why even have that? That's also in the fight with Jason Statham's character and The Rock's character, where during the fight, The Rock does the rock bottom and to him, and the camera just moves all weird, and I just thought, why? But this was, and then it's not me trying to nitpick, because I did see some of the I went back and saw the fight scenes in 5 and 6 to see if they were like the same, but they're not the same. They weren't as shaky. You can tell more what's going on. I thought they were just better and more entertaining. But I was he still keeps the same tone. He still keeps the same humor with some of the characters, with Tyrese and Ludacris and Paul Walker, how they all just bragging at each other. I thought that was fun. He still kept that, so I give him credit for that. But just for some reason, the way he shoots some of the action scenes are weird, a little too close, or too much cutting, weird camera angles for some reason. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do, but I think it just screams, he's not an action director. He's mostly done horror films, but so you can just tell where he's not experienced compared to Justin Lin, which he has done mostly just action films in his career. But overall, I did enjoy Furious 7, but I feel it just wasn't up to par to 5 and 6. Um, I'll say I'll say another big issue with the movie. One was, I'll say, small. Well, there's more than two. There's like a few. Okay. One big problem is the movie establishes that Vin Diesel, no, Jason Statham's character wants revenge. You see, he kills Han, just like you saw in the end credits of Fast and Furious 6. He kills Han. He calls Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto. He calls Dom and says, "You don't know me. You're about to." And then when he says that, the house, Dom's house, explodes, almost killing everybody, but doesn't hurt anyone. And then that's when he wants revenge as well. And then they set up the fight. You have that scene in the trailer where they collide cars. And it's not as ridiculous as it was in the trailer where you see glass just breaking through. But you see that. They're about to fight. They fight a little bit. And then they get interrupted by Kurt Russell. And then this subplot about, oh, hey, Dom, you need to help me find this hacker who got kidnapped by this villain. So this subplot comes out of nowhere. And I felt that slowed the movie down. The other villain of the movie is what's his name? I'm trying to pronounce his name. From Blood Diamond. I'm not even gonna try to say his name because I'm probably gonna butcher it. But that actor, African actor from Blood Diamond, he's the villain. He comes in the picture. I didn't feel like he was needed, and somehow, some way, him and Jason Statham's character, they're working together, and then first Jason Statham pops back up every once in a while, but I just felt like they didn't know where else to put him around this subplot. And another problem I had was the when they actually do get to fight Vin Diesel and Jason Statham. It's the weakest fight of the movie. I thought the fight with The Rock and Jason Statham was better. I thought the fight with Paul Walker and the Asian guy, he fights twice in the movie. Once during the whole rescue scene, which was really well done. I thought that was the best action scene of the movie. And his fight at the end with the Asian guy again, where he finally defeats him. And the fight with Michelle Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey. All those fights were better than the one, in my opinion, they were better than the one that should have been the best fight, and that was Jason Statham versus Vin Diesel. And it wasn't that it was bad, it's just like it set up it was building up for so long that it's, and then when you get it, it's just an average fight. And I felt the resolution to it was weak. Because the other villain, he's shooting at them, and then he makes a hole in the ground, and then Jason Statham he's about to fall in the hole, and then Vin Diesel actually stomps on the concrete and breaks. Like, I thought that was fucking stupid. I know this series has ridiculous moments, but I thought that was like a jump the shark moment, I should say. It was pretty ridiculous. I'm like, it just took me out of the movie. And then he falls, and he doesn't die. He goes to jail, and then The Rock tells him, "Oh, if you try to escape, I'll be waiting for you." And then he doesn't die. So Vin Diesel doesn't get his revenge. That whole plot doesn't get resolved. And I thought that was a huge mistake, because you set this up from the end of Fast and Furious 6. This is what the 7th one was about, and it doesn't even get resolved. I felt like that was disappointing, and and the fight itself with Vin Diesel and Jason Statham was anticlimactic. And it's weird because they build up. Okay, at the end when they start fighting again, they do the whole car thing again where they crash into each other. I'm like, you guys did that already. I'm like, why do it again? I don't know. I just felt that whole plot didn't live up to its expectation. Expectation. I'm butchering words now. But I don't know. I just all the other fights and all the other action scenes were more better done, and this is just felt like really. But I will say that it doesn't ruin the movie completely. But I think that is what made this movie weaker compared to 5 and 6. But like I said, I mean, I thought the characters really had good chemistry. So most of the action scenes were fun and entertaining despite the weird editing and shaky cam. I would say Jason Statham. I'm not a big fan of him, but he was. I thought he was pretty cool, but I just felt that he was misused. I would say they didn't know where else to put him in most of the movie, on only the beginning and the end, and I just felt his whole storyline was, for some reason, wasn't resolved just for a sequel, and that was a mistake. Is what I'm trying to say. Like, they should have resolved that to make it feel like I know it's not the final one, but it just, you have this whole marketing campaign of one last ride. I know it was meant more for Paul Walker's character, but even in the context of the movie, when they're getting ready for the final fight, for the final action set piece, Vin Diesel goes to his garage and he finds his old car and says, "One last ride." He means like one last adventure for him, I should say, to end this whole thing with the Shaw family. So what you're gonna have now, like, you're gonna have, because Luke Evans' character didn't die, Jason Statham's character didn't die, so you're gonna have them team up in the sequel to face The Rock and Vin Diesel. Like, they are stretching that storyline a little too much. It should have been resolved in this movie, I think. That's just my opinion. There are other moments where I just don't think were well done, like when at the end where they finally kill the other villain. Vin Diesel drives his car, he has a bomb and puts the bomb under the guy's helicopter, and he crashes down and the helicopter explodes, and they think Dom is dead, but he's not. Like, whatever. But those were really my major problems with the movie, and I did feel the length of the movie. It didn't have as good as pace as like I said, 5 and 6. But the other fights were good. The other action scenes were good. The humor worked for the most part. Tyrese does get most of the funny lines, of course. The Rock, he wasn't in the movie as much as I hoped he would, but for the time he's there, he is used properly, I think. He also has some good moments with his daughter, who visits him in the hospital after he fought Jason Statham. One more thing I have to say as the negatives. The fight between Michelle Rodriguez and Ronda Rousey, it was good, but the second Ronda Rousey opened her mouth and said her line, I was like, that was like the worst delivery I've heard in a long time. Because she's like, "I'm glad you came. This party got boring." I probably said it better than she did, but It was pretty. It was a horrible delivery, but I give her credit. She knows how to fight. So there's that. Um, I know I'm going all over the place. I apologize, but I saw this movie 2 weeks ago. The crowd, I'll say the theater loved it. The crowd loved it. They were really into it. That's because I guess they were, I'll say they're fans of the franchise. I'm not so much as 5 and 6, and this one I guess. Um, I'll say one of the things I really liked about the movie, besides the stuff I mentioned, like the action scenes, the fight scenes, and the humor. The opening, I really like with Gene Statham, where he's visiting his brother, and then you see the nurses are freaked out, and then he tells them, "Take care of my brother, or else I'm gonna come back and kill all of you." And as he's walking out, you see the whole hospital has been trashed. It's been like a war zone, and it's all done in slow motion while he's walking. I thought that was a pretty cool way to open up the movie. And before I wrap up, I'm gonna talk about the ending, because I thought ending a lot. The ending of the movie is the best part of the movie. Where everything's been resolved for the most part. And then you have all the characters, the surviving characters. You have Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez, Ludacris, Tyrese, all at the beach, and they're watching Paul Walker and Jordana Brewster and their child. And, having their moment, and then I thought it was really touching the way it was done, and they all look so sad, and because that was the last time they're gonna be with Paul Walker, with Brian, but it's also the last time they got to work with Paul Walker before he died. But this scene was filmed before not before, after. That would be weird. After Paul Walker passed away, and you can just tell they're really emotional. They broke character, which is fine. I usually, if any other movie broke character like that for some other scene, I probably would criticize. But it's fine with this movie because it makes sense. I mean, it's a sad thing. They lost a friend, and I thought it was well done. He's having his moment with his family, and Vin Diesel decides to leave. He's driving his car, and then also another car drives next to him, and it's Paul Walker, and he says, what's the line? He says, "You thought you were gonna leave without saying goodbye?" And then they both smile, and then they have a tribute video with Paul Walker throughout the movies, and then they're both riding together. And while that's going on, Vin Diesel's narrating. He says, "I may be saying goodbye." I believe the line's like, "I may be saying goodbye, but you'll always be my brother." And then you see, as they're riding together, they separate, and you see Paul Walker's car, his white car, driving into the sunset. I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was well done. I give credit to James Wan. That was really well done, really touching, really emotional. And it was a really good way to end the movie. The only way you could end the movie. And one last thing, I did like the nods to the previous films. Like, you have the race car, the street racing. Oh, it's like the desert racing from the first movie. You see the cameo from Hector from the first movie. Or the little nod to Tokyo Drift, where it connects to the ending of Tokyo Drift, and you see Lucas Black. And I say it's kind of pointless cameo because he's just there, and he gives Vin Diesel the stuff Han left behind. He's like, "What are you gonna do now?" He's like, "I'm gonna get revenge." Okay, bye. That was it. I was like, whatever. But overall, I did enjoy this movie for what it was, despite its many flaws. And I don't know what they would do with Part 8. I guess just continue with the whole Shaw storyline. But it's not the best one. Like I said, I keep repeating myself. 5 and 6 I thought were better. Um, mm, I really got nothing else to say except for thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. I hope you enjoyed this video. I got a lot more videos coming up, so stay tuned. Alright, adios.